In conclusion, I wish to believe that the confidential fund of the Department of Education was not properly recorded at its best or misappropriated at its worst.
Sige nga, kasi ini-excuse mo yung sarili mo because of a provision of the circular, but the same circular says that you can be accountable. How do you reconcile that?
And that is your interpretation, man, that we have read the GMC.
Yes, sir.
Oh, now? What? Are you telling this representation that I'm wrong? And Chairman Acop?
No, sir. My apologies if you have misinterpreted what I'm trying to explain.
No, I didn't misinterpreted you. You're telling me that my statement is not correct.
No, sir. I'm not saying. I'm sorry po. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Your Honor. But I'm trying to explain on why I signed that liquidation.
Oh, tell you to sign the document. Are you forced to sign the document?
Not really forced, but I was
Not really.
requested to sign the document.
Oh, you signed the document, but you never bothered to read this mandate of yours?
I'd like to recognize Congresswoman Luistro.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wish to express my frustration along with the other members of this committee for not being able to ask questions to our resource speakers from the office of the OVP. I just hope that they realize that the committee is providing them an ample due process, an avenue for them to be able to refute, to belie the findings that we have established already. But they prefer not attending the hearing rather than giving their due explanation to all the issues which have been raised already. Mr. Chair, after the last hearing of the Committee on Blue Ribbon, the Vice President held a press conference, although apparently she did not address squarely the findings that we have established already. Among others is the huge cost of rentals for the safe houses, most especially the 16 million confidential fund that was used in 11 days for the safe houses. Second, the confirmation of Attorney Osayas with regards to the receipt of DepEd envelope payola, which has been testified to already in the previous hearings by Yusek Mercado. And third is the denial of the AFP of having received any fund from the DepEd with respect to the Youth Leadership Summits and the information and education campaign which were conducted. Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, there is one remark of the Vice President which indeed captured the attention of this representation. And if I can ask the Secretariat to please play this video clip of the press con. Since we're having some technical problem, let me share with you what she said during that press con. She said that the DepEd Confidential Fund ay ginamit para magbigay ng impormasyon sa militar at sa local government units kung saan dapat gawin ang Youth Leadership Summits at ang Information Education Campaign. First of all, Mr. Chair, I find it really strange. A civilian office like the Department of Education is the one which will be providing a confidential information to the military and the LGU with respect to national security. Hindi po ba baligtad ito, Mr. Chair? Because it is indeed the mandate of the AFP to promote and secure the national security and interest of our country. Pero dito po sa naging pronouncement ng ating Vice Presidente, she said, ang confidential fund ng Department of Education ay ginamit para magbigay ng impormasyon sa militar at sa LGU kung saan dapat gawin ang Youth Leadership Summits at ang Information Education Campaign. Mr. Chair, I wish to invite the attention of the committee to the certifications that were issued by the AFP and were submitted by the DepEd to COA in support of the utilization of the DepEd Confidential Fund, and the same provides YLS and IECs are conducted to prevent recruitment of teachers and students by terrorists and insurgents. May we request Attorney Camora to please confirm kung ito nga po ba ay nakasaad sa certifications ng AFP.
Attorney Camora.
Mr. Chair.
The certifications submitted by AFP to DepEd and which were subsequently submitted by DepEd to COA in support of the utilization of the DepEd Confidential Fund provides, among others, that YLS and IECs are intended to prevent recruitment of teachers and students by insurgents and rebels.
That is what is contained in the certification, Mr.
So you
Chair.
confirm?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And having said so, Mr. Chair, we must understand that there are 4 existing programs of DepEd. And I wish to know also from COA, sang program po ba pumasok ito? Because we have to understand that each program has their corresponding expenditure of the confidential fund. Can we please flash each program along with the corresponding expenditures? The program includes counterinsurgency, abuse prevention and control, anti-illegal activities, and anti-extremist or terrorism activities. Ang bawat programa pong ito ay may kanya-kanyang expenditures ng confidential fund. And if we can show this table, Secretariat, please. The table shows that for counterinsurgency program, first quarter, DepEd spent 2 million, and second quarter, DepEd spent 2,050,000. The second program is abuse prevention and control within schools, and expenditures for first quarter, 2.130 million. Second quarter is 2.370 million. Anti-illegal activities, first quarter, 1.5 million, and second quarter, 1.7 million. And for anti-extremism, first quarter, 1.8 million, and second quarter, 1.8 million. I understand, Mr. Chair, that the YLS and the Education Information Campaign has to fall in any of these programs. And considering the purpose that was indicated in the certification submitted to COA, I wish to believe na ito pong mga YLS na to at IECs na to ay part ng counter-insurgency program. Tama po ba ito, Attorney Camora?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
And having said that, Attorney Camora, ang total expenditures po for the counter-insurgency program is only 4,050,000 pesos, when the amount utilized is 15,540,000 pesos. Mayroon pong nawawala 10,490,000 pesos. Saan po kaya napunta itong diferensya ng nasabing amount?
Mr. Chair, we considered the entirety since ang sabi naman po, focus on protecting the schools and the youth from physical harm, criminalities, terrorism, and drug abuse. So, hindi na lang po siya sa counter-insurgency.
Mr. Chair, is it the intention of Attorney Camora to consider that the entire amount utilized, that is 15,040,000, were spent in all these 4 programs of DepEd? Is that what you are trying to say, Attorney Camora?
The fund was used for the payment of rewards po in relation to these 4 programs.
Yes,
So,
but there are
opo.
4 programs of the DepEd under which the utilization must fall. Kaya ang tanong ko po sa inyo kanina, when the certification provides that YLS and IECs are conducted to prevent recruitment of teachers and students by extremists and terrorists, ito po ba ay tamang nasa ilalim ng counter-insurgency program?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Because if so, since most of the expenses, or I should say all, of the 15,540,000 was utilized for this YLS and IECs, ang napapaloob pong expenditures for counter-insurgency program is only 4,050,000. Hinahanap ko po, Attorney Camora, saan po napunta yung 10,490,000?
Ayun nga po. Actually, binase din po namin sa certification na they've made mention that it is to protect the schools and the students from physical harm, criminalities, terrorism, which is one of the, and drug abuse po. So,
Then why did they not indicate those purposes in the certifications?
it's on the certification po. I'm reading from the certification po.
The certification provide for prevention of recruitment by the terrorists and rebels. Am I correct, Attorney?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ano pa po bang ibang purpose ang nakasaad sa certification? Mayroon pa po bang ibang purpose?
Nakalagay po kasi, also because of this exchange of information, we were able to perform our civil military combat and intelligence operations in our AOR with focus on protecting the schools, their students, and the youth from physical harm, criminalities, terrorism, and drug abuse.
So from your point of view, Attorney Tamora, saang program po ba napapaloob itong YLS at IECs?
Sa anti-insurgency.
If you are saying that this falls under the anti-insurgency program, ano naman pong activities kaya ang kinonduct ng DepEd in line with their abuse prevention, anti-illegal activities, and anti-extremism?
Based din po dito sa YLS, yun pong other purposes nung YLS.
In other words, Attorney Tamora, you will agree with me that all the certifications pertain to YLS and IECs only.
Pero meron pong other purpose po kasi silang nilagay sa certification.
Then please enlighten us what activity falls under abuse prevention. What activity falls under anti-illegal activities?
I think the YLS activities also included, yun nga po, lectures on drug abuse, criminalities.
Are you not particular about defining, identifying sang programa po ba ito na papaloob? How are you able to account the expenditures if you are not even aware kung saan programa kasama yung mga activities ng DepEd?
I think that was not part of the yung naging part nung review nito. Dahil nung nagpasubmit po kami ng sa rewards.
I will raise the same question for the last time, attorney. You were saying that the YLS and the IEC fall under counterinsurgency program.
Yes, Mr.
And that is
Chair.
only 4,050,000.
Yes, Mr.
Way
Chair.
below the 15,040,000 confidential fund that was utilized by DepEd. What therefore are the activities that fall under abuse prevention first?
Mr. Chair, ito lang po yung naging basis namin, Mr. Chair.
I understand that this 15 million is not even a subject matter of an AOM or an ND. Tama po ba ako?
It was a subject matter of AOM po.
And then what happened with the AOM?
And then this is their answer, yung certification po.
And you simply adopted this.
Yes po. Opo.
And you agree with me that it is not clear with COA kung anong activity ang pumasok in every or each of the 4 programs.
Hindi na po namin kinategorize, Mr. Chair.
I wish to invite the attention of the committee to the total amount spent for all these programs. Nasa ilalim po, first quarter is 7.5, and then second quarter is 8.31. How can you give us a clear presentation on how this 15 million was utilized if you could not identify under which program every activity falls? Ano po bang ibig sabihin ng pagtango nyo, attorney?
Yun po, hindi po na-consider nung evaluate po na i-categorize siya according to the programs of the DepEd.
But can you confirm to us, yun po bang certifications na sinasabi nyo, which is stated that YLS and IECs are intended to prevent recruitment? Pare-parehas po ba yan? O may iba pa pong purpose na nabanggit?
Ayun po, yung isang certification may ganun pong nakalagay na other purpose.
How many certifications are we talking about, attorney? For the entire 15,040,000 pesos confidential fund of DepEd.
Mr. Chair, dalawa lang po.
Dalawang certification lang po. And I think it will be very easy with you at least to categorize, Attorney Kamora. San po bang program na pasama yan? Dadalawa naman pala. Can you please read the purpose of the first certification?
These combined activities benefited 1,300 participants for the YLS and 8,754 students for the IEC. These collaborative efforts with the DepEd, Region 1 NICA, Regional Office 1, and OPAPRU were conducted to insulate the students from exploitation by the communist terrorist groups and inform them of the ills of terrorism and communism.
Would you agree with me that that is counterinsurgency program?
Yes, Mr.
How
Chair.
much is the amount indicated?
There is no amount indicated in this particular
There is no amount
certification.
indicated. How about the other certification? Can you please read to us?
Only the first purpose po. Kasi, Mr. Chair, there is a second purpose in this one.
What
Which
is the second purpose?
Yung verse po na binasa ko na about criminalities, terrorism, and drug abuse. And then,
Is there any third and fourth purposes?
no, Mr. Chair.
Wala na. First and second.
Yes, Mr.
So in other words, the certifications provide, first is the counterinsurgency, and second, it encompasses the three other remaining programs.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
However, I wish to manifest, Mr. Chair, that the COA should be able to identify under which program each expenditures fall, because if I will be basing our interpretation to the certification which states as primary purpose that the YLS and IECs are conducted to prevent recruitment, then it means that the program which is being implemented by DepEd is the counterinsurgency program. And considering that the amount which was spent for this program is only 4,050,000, I wish to be enlightened, magkano kaya yung nagastos for the abuse prevention, magkano kaya ang nagastos para sa anti-illegal activities, at magkano kaya ang nagastos para sa anti-extremism. It is my humble submission, Mr. Chair, that the COA should be able to identify this, to be able to give a clear presentation and account of the public funds which were utilized by the Office of the Department of Education. Mr. Chair, moving to my second observation, the DepEd Confidential Fund, according to the Vice President, was used to obtain information where military and LGU should hold the YLS and IEC. Again, I find this strange. Nabaligtad na po, because the office which has the mandate on addressing the national security and interest is the AFP, the Office of the National Defense. So I wish to believe that matters concerning national security ay mas marami pong information ang DND compared to the Department of Education. But strangely, ang nakasaad po dito, ang confidential fund ng DepEd ay ginagamit para makakuha ng impormasyon at masabihan ang military kasama na ang LGU saan kayo magko-conduct ng Youth Leadership Summits at Information Education Campaign. Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, I wish to believe na dapat mayroon pong correlation ang source ng information at ang site or recipient ng YLS and IEC. Can we request the Secretariat to please flash the graph, the pie? Mr. Chair, the payment of rewards indicated in our graph shows, or should I say, is not consistent with the location of the recipient where the YLS and the IEC were conducted. Ang sabi po dito sa ating graph, nagkaroon ng payment of rewards sa Zamboanga del Norte, sa Zamboanga del Sur, sa Zamboanga Sibugay, sa Basilan, even in Sulu, Ilocos Norte, Ilocos Sur, La Union, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Zambales, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Albay, Sorsogon, Masbate. However, Mr. Chair, the total of the payment of rewards is only 4,282,000. Again, if we compare this to the total amount of confidential fund which is 15,540,000 pesos. Ang question, saan naman po kaya nadala itong nawawalang 11,258,000 pesos? Can we ask Attorney Camora, mayroon po ba kayong nakita sa inyong pag-audit? Saan ho ba nagkaroon ng YLS and IEC na hindi consistent sa location ng payment of reward?
Mr. Chair, yung location ng YLS and IEC is based on the certification po. These are the areas covered po nung activities. On the other hand, sa DEP po, yung payment of rewards, pwede po kasi yung informant is nasa ibang lugar or address po kasi niya yon or address niya kung saan man siya.
That
kung
is
saan
a
man
possibility, but
Opo.
I am certain that you were not able to inquire about that information anymore.
We don't inquire po beyond the
I understand, but are you really
receipts.
allowed to assume? Kasi what you are telling us is just an assumption. Pwede po na ang source of information ay nakatira sa Batangas. At magbibigay po siya ng impormasyon tungkol po sa Zamboanga del Norte. How do you think a person residing in Batangas will be familiar on what is going on in Zamboanga del Norte?
That is a personal ano lang po. But actually po, table audit lang po talaga ang audit ng confidential funds. So, it's talaga po kung ano yung sinubmit na documents.
In other words, Attorney Camora, you do not pay attention anymore even when the source of information are residing in places far from the site of the Youth Leadership Summits and the Information and Education Campaign.
Hindi na po namin pinagtugma
But were you able to see and observe these inconsistencies during your auditing? Nakita niyo po ba yon? I believe so. That is why you stated earlier na pwede naman pong nakatira sa ibang lugar and he will be giving information about another place.
Yes, Mr. Chair. But
You observe it during the auditing, but you did not conduct any further inquiry as to the correlation between the source of the information and the recipient or the location of the recipient of the YLS and the IECs. Do you agree?
yes, Mr. Chair.
Hindi nyo na po pinansin. Mr. Chair, to conclude, dito po sa dalawang slides na ating ipinakita, if we will be anchoring our analysis on the programs of DepEd, it will appear that only 4,250,000 was spent for the counterinsurgency program, Mr. Chair. And therefore, there remains an unaccounted amount equivalent to 10,490,000 out of the total confidential fund, which is 15,540,000. Meanwhile, Mr. Chair, if we will be anchoring our analysis on the location of the source of information and the location of the recipients of the Youth Leadership Summits and the Information and Education Campaign, what is consistent with respect to their location is equivalent only to the amount of 4,282,000 pesos. So, there remains also an unexplained amount of 10,490,000 pesos. Nasaan naman po kaya itong amount na ito? Mr. Chair, in conclusion, I wish to believe that the confidential fund of the Department of Education was not properly recorded at its best, or misspent, or misappropriated at its worst. It is the humble submission of this representation that there is a prima facie case of malversation, and in addition, an apparent case of breach of public trust. For us to be able to know whether there is malversation, 4 elements must be present. Number 1, there must be a public official. 2, he is the custodian of fund. 3, the fund must be for public purpose. And 4th, the public official took, appropriated, misappropriated, or consented, or through abandonment or negligence, permitted another person to take them. For the information of the public, ang malversation po can be done intentionally. We call it dolo, which is with criminal intent. And it can be done as well by negligence. We call it culpa, or by negligence. In other words, with or without criminal intent. If the 4 elements are present, which I believe they are present, there's a prima facie case of malversation. With respect to the breach of public trust, this is the violation of public's confidence in a public officer's ability to serve with integrity, impartiality, and in accordance with law. Public trust is mandated by no less than the fundamental law of the land. That is the Philippine Constitution. We wish to express our utmost trust and confidence to the 19th Congress of the Philippines in addressing the apparent infractions of our rules on malversation and breach of public trust. And to the Filipino people, Mr. Chair, rest assured that this committee will legislate the necessary laws to safeguard not only confidential fund, but all public funds. As likewise, we commit to recommend the filing of the necessary actions against people found liable for committing these infractions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro. The chair will now move to another or to the next interpellator, Congressman Pagduano.
Thank you, Chairman. May I proceed? Chairman, since the Bureau of Treasury is not present in today's hearing, may I move to invite the representative from the Bureau of the Treasury, especially those representatives present during the previous hearing, for consistencies, Mr. Chairman. So move.
COMSEC, please take note of
Noted,
the
Your
representation of Congressman Paduano.
Mr. Chairman, why we should invite BTR? Because issues about policies with regards to GMC, to regards to the Memorandum Circular 97-02 from COA, and MC 02 of 2019 by the BTR should be, we need to check the consistencies of such GMC and those memorandum circular, Mr. Chairman, with regards to special cash advances. Now, COA, please lang po, please prepare the next hearing yung question of the requirements for special cash advancement for the SDOs, dun po sa mga accountable officers, especially in question of their capacity to refund, just in case, amount being given to them as authorized by their principal. In this case, it is the Vice President. Kasi po, kailangan natin po yun, no? Sorry? Please use the
Your
microphone.
Honor po, may I be recognized?
Yes, Ms. Hemora.
Your
you're
Honor,
recognized.
is it for the next hearing? May we be clarified,
For the
please?
next hearing, kaya nga pinapaunahan ko na po kayo the questions that I might raise. No? Basta MC ng 7-002, BTR 02 of 2019 for the Bureau of Treasury, and yung GMC. No? How you check na lang po how consistent, because in the GMC may problema po doon. Kasi the requirements are being laid and the provision with regards to the MC of COA 97-02, napakalinaw po, nandun yung SALN. But in the GMC, wala po. Then I will also discuss and ask about the salary grade of all those SDOs that was given an authority from the Vice President. Kasi ang appointing officer is the Vice President. Kasi po, if you look at the salary grade, but of course, salary grade is not only the basis, no? Mr. Chairman, but in fact, of course, salary grade is not only the basis. That is why one of the requirements should be the SALN. Because in the case of Mr. Edward Farda, his salary grade is only 17 with a salary of 41,508. Pero yung encashment niya in one check is 37 million. So we have to check on it. Kasi po, based on the record, napakarami pong mga officers in the office of the Vice President na mataas pong posisyon, but hindi sila binigyan. For example, in the case of Argonza Belinda, ang posisyon niya po ay Supervising Administrative Officer. 75,000 yung ano niya, salary niya. In the case of Cesar Abalon, Chief Education Program Specialist, doon po sa DepEd, ang salary grade niya is 101,000. Why a 41,000 with a salary grade 8 sa 17 was given the authority to encash checks worth 37 million. And it happens not only once, it happens several times. So that will be the question that will be raised by this representation in the next hearing, especially on matters of policy. No, because sabi ko na nga, if the office of the Vice President to the legal department is questioning about jurisdiction of this committee to investigate such government funds and expenditures, we have the jurisdiction because we are now questioning the implementation and some policies of COA, of the BTR, in this particular case. Now, so please, Comsec, paki-ano lang po, paki-inform yung yung BTR, that will be the question that will be raised in the next hearing po.
Noted, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, to the land bank, of course, a while ago, you mentioned about that you received the invitation in a short notice. That was just yesterday at 4 p.m. But let me remind you, I will not ask the details, but I will ask you now about the policies. And let me remind you, and for the record, we will not ask about specific bank details. And you cannot invoke the bank secrecy law. When in fact, that's why in this hearing again, question of jurisdiction, this committee has the jurisdiction because for the past several years, no, hindi lang to OBP, hindi lang to DepEd, all other agencies in government, and that includes LGU, may problema tayo because during the investigation in other committee, especially in my committee in the public accounts, question of the bank secrecy law is being invoked by the land bank. At this time, you cannot invoke because we have now the checks. We have now the checks that was encashed in your branch. Now, the first, eto, bibigay ko sa inyo, for Gina Acosta. This check was addressed to Gina Acosta in Shaw Boulevard branch. Shaw Boulevard. Sino ba yung ang manager nyo? Shaw Boulevard. Nandito ba siya? Wala. Wala. Comsec, Mr. Chairman, I move to invite the branch manager of Sio Boulevard Land Bank in the next hearing.
Comsec, please
Noted,
take
Your
note of
Honor.
the manifestation of Congressman Paduano.
And with regards to DepEd, to the DepEd, nandito rin po yung mga cheque. The total is 112.5 million for 37.5 every check, million every check. Now this is from a land bank dito po sa Dex, sa Ultra Compound. Do you have a branch? So, Mr. Chairman, once again, I move that we invite the branch manager of this land bank branch for the
Comsec.
DepEd.
Comsec, please take note of the manifestation of Congressman Paduano.
Now, let me proceed na lang, Mr. Chair, matter of policy with regards to land bank. What is the maximum reserve fund of those mentioned branches?
ABP, Camposano, would you like to respond?
Different branches have different CI cash in vault levels, sir.
At tanong ko nga magkano, yung sa branch na yon, yung sa Ultra, at saka doon sa Sio Boulevard.
I'm not aware of the Shaw Boulevard branch, but with the DepEd branch, it's 10 million.
10 million. Okay, but the check that was in cash, or that's why I wanted the manager of that such branch. Kasi alam ko hindi niya man masasagot. Pero I want her to be present in the next hearing because if the maximum reserve fund of that branch is only 10 million, the check that was it's either in cash or deposited to other banks or other bank accounts was 37.5 million. And it happens not only once, it happens several times. Tatlong cheque po dito ang hawak namin. Kompleto po, pati yung mga check number nandito. So, I hope, Land Bank, you bring your branch manager the next hearing. And please prepare also for the reserve fund of the Shaw Boulevard branch.
Yes, sir. Your
Now,
Honor.
let me proceed, Mr. Chairman. So, what will, specifically, what will be, if in the case of the Ultra Compound branch, maximum is only 10 million. What will happen if the encashment is more than 10 million? And in this case, it's 37.5 million.
We usually ask our client to call us in advance, 2 days or 1 day before the encashment, for us to prepare the amount.
Okay, so 1 day or 2 days notice for the client.
Yes.
Okay. Now next. Di ba pag yung client, yung check is under the client's name, he should be or she should be physically present
Yes, sir.
during encashment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yun. We will also check that. If Edward Farda, in the case of DepEd, and Jen Acosta is physically and personally present during the encashment. Okay? Now, next question. With the amount of 125 million and 37.5 million, this is just a matter of policy. And I do believe that he cannot bring it wherever he wants, if that was an encashment. So, what will happen?
Sir, I cannot understand what.
Okay, eto lang po. Do you allow delivery of such amount or big cash amount from if the client requests for it
No,
to
sir.
be delivered?
No, sir.
No. Are you sure of that, attorney? Are you sure that it is not allowed?
It depends, sir. If we have a memorandum of agreement with the
Ano lang po,
agency,
pakilapit-lapitan lang po.
It depends if we have an agreement with the client, if with a memorandum of agreement for delivery, or payroll, or whatever.
Correct. If you have a memorandum of agreement,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, ganito po. Please submit to this committee because I do not believe that Jen Acosta and Mr. Farda encash that amount, then brought with them to their office or to any place. Diba? So please bring and submit to this committee that MOA, particularly the branch that was mentioned. Is the branch allowed to have a MOA with the client with such amount? For example, in this case, 37.5 million in one encashment. And the other is much bigger, 4 times. That's 125 million. Do you allow land bank branches to initiate a MOA with your client with such amount of fund?
It depends on the agreement, sir, with the branch and with the client.
Sandali po, matter of policy po, tinatanong ko, do the central office of land bank allows,
Yes.
kahit anong halaga?
Yeah. If there is a MOA, if there is a memorandum of agreement, sir.
Hindi nga, yun ang tanong ko eh. Okay, sabihin na natin, may memorandum of agreement. Wala po bang ceiling na amount that you allow the branch? Okay, ganito lang po. If you cannot answer that, please prepare for it on the next hearing. Kasi yun pong mga tanong kasi, Mr. Chairman, I just want to make it clear why I am asking this question because the banking laws should also be amended, especially the bank secrecy law. Because supposedly, government funds should be exempted. And in the bank secrecy law, there should be a special provision for it. And in fact, supposedly, especially government banks, with regards to MOA, dapat po may ceiling. Kasi, alam mo naman po natin, okay lang yan pag government fund. What if personal fund? Eh, kung may money laundering, well, in fact, until now, it's still 500,000, di ba? Ma'am?
Yes.
500,000 pa rin, di ba?
Above 500,000, sir.
Above 500,000? 500 lang. 500,000 yung...
No, it's above 500,000.
If above 500,000,
Di ba? Above 500,000.
what is the policy?
Sir. In the AMLA, sir.
Sorry? Pakilapit lang po yung...
Any transactions above 500,000 shall be reported to the AMLA.
Ayun na nga eh. Yun na nga yung sinasabi ko eh. But in this case, kung 500,000 yung maximum, eh, pero yung withdrawal, especially ito, government funds, 37.5 million, 125 million. Kaya nga, Mr. Chairman, again, I would like to reiterate na kailangan talaga ma-revisit yung yung banking laws and particularly yung bank secrecy law. Kasi this in my 11 years in Congress with regards to investigation, especially the which land bank or government banking institution is involved, lagi po nakatali yung kamay ng Kongreso because of this bank secrecy law. But again, you cannot anymore invoke that bank secrecy law because COA has already submitted all the checks. But I will not ask about the details in the next hearing with regards to how much is the actual bank, yung laman ng bank account ng DepEd or the Office of the Vice President. But I will ask you, how did these transactions happen? Kasi po, unang-una, ang tanong po, ano ba to? Si Edward Farda, cash encashment bang ginawa niya o yung cheque, transfer niya sa ibang bangko?
Encashment, sir.
Sigurado ka, encashment?
Yes, sir.
Paano mo nalaman?
I was the former branch manager of the DepEd branch, sir.
Ah, okay. So ito, alam mo.
Yes, sir.
Alam mo. So pwede na kitang tanungin ngayon o... pwede na o next hearing na?
Next hearing, sir.
Okay, mabait ako ngayon. Okay, next hearing ha. Pagandaan mo, ikaw pala, hindi mo... Dapat sana, kaya pala alam mo yung specific na location ng branch na yun kasi ikaw pala yung ano dito, branch manager noon.
Yes, sir.
Kaya alam mo.
Yes,
So, you're familiar about all these checks
Yes, sir.
and how these checks was encashed.
Yes, sir.
And how was it delivered? The cash.
It was not delivered.
Oh. Alam mo. Yung delivery from the bank. Ikaw yung branch manager, hindi mo alam how it was delivered?
the the cash from our cash center, sir, or the cash for the ano
No,
for
for example, we're talking about the first check, 37.5 million. Ang bangko niyo ba nag-deliver? O
Over the counter.
binitbit ni Farda?
I think the question, ma'am, is how it was encash. So kung paano po ba to over the counter?
Yes, sir.
So isang bagsak, magkano pong amount yan, Congressman?
37.5 million.
So yung 37 po ba, in over the counter yung pag-encash?
Yes, sir.
On the same day, 37 was released, 37 million
Yes.
pesos was released.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sigurado ka ba, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all three ba or 4 checks? 3 checks. Ganon ang ginawa yung 37.5 million?
I will have to check first.
Oh, tama
I
si
cannot
attorney.
recall how many checks.
Oh,
is
you
in
should
cash.
recall. Kasi pupunta tayo dito hanggang doon sa kung kailangan namin ipasubuin na yung CCTV nyo. Papasubuin na namin.
Ang tanong po ni Congressman Paduano, on 3 occasions, 3 cheque po kasi yan, 37.5 million. Ito po ba 37.5 million in cash over the counter on the same date? I mean, 3 separate dates.
Ma'am, ganito lang po. With this huge amount, para safe ka, baka mamaya magkamali ka, then gagawa ka ng kwento para to defend your position, at the same time yung opisina mo, better recall mo muna. Basta sabihin mo lang yung totoo, ma'am.
Yes,
No, kung ano talaga nangyari.
Yes, sir.
Kasi, pag lumabas na nagsisinungaling ka, you will violate our Section 11. Alam mo na yon. Alam mo yon, yung
Yes.
consequence.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, siguro, better prepare na lang po for the next hearing, no? Yung mga possible questions. Be sure na kung transfer, it was transferred to other bank accounts. Kung pinangkas at hinatid. Diba? Or, pinaingkas, binitbit ni Edward. Tama?
Yes.
Okay. So, for the meantime, Mr. Chairman, yun lang muna. I think I have already called the attention of the BTR and
Kumuha sa
sandali. Ito, boss. Ito. Mr. Chairman, last na lang pala po, baka makalimutan ko lang. So, okay na ako doon sa COA, next hearing na lang, at saka sa Land Bank, no? Pakidala na lang po. Kung hindi mo ma-recall talaga, pakidala ng teller mo. The time. Because this amount, 37.5 million, pag sinabi mo hindi alam, mabuti sinabi mo, alam mo. Kasi I will not believe in you na hindi mo alam because ganito kalaki, dapat alam ng branch manager, di ba? Okay, anyway. Ganito na lang po. Chairman, maiksi na lang po ito.
Yes, please continue.
I'd like to take this opportunity because Miss Catalan is present.
Yes, Your Honor, she's present. Rauna Catalan from DepEd.
Please.
Miss,
Please take your seat.
Miss Catalan, for the information of everyone and the chair and this honorable committee, siya po yung isa sa mga pumirma as the head of the accounting department unit.
Comsec, nakapag-oath na po ba si Miss Catalan? Ma'am? Miss Catalan, nakapag-oath na po ba kayo? Last hearing, nakapag-oath na? Okay. Yes, please continue, Congressman Paduano.
Ma'am, are you still with the DepEd?
Yes, Your Honor.
And please tell us about your present position in DepEd.
I've been the chief accountant since 2010
Until now?
until now.
Until now. So, you're aware of this liquidation report that was submitted by COA to this committee. And your name was affixed in this liquidation report. And you have a signature on this liquidation report.
Yes, sir.
So you're aware.
I am aware of the face copy of the liquidation report, but the supporting documents were not presented to me.
So it was not presented to you, you just signed it?
It was,
You're the chief accountant?
yes, sir, but it was just a formality that it should be covered by the liquidation report. But,
No, but supposedly you're the chief accountant, you have checked.
but per joint circular, sir, it was stated that the liquidation report plus the supporting documents shall be submitted by the disbursing officer direct to the ICPAO without any presentation to the chief accountant.
Yung ICPAO po, saan po department under yun?
COA, yung Intelligence and Audit Office ng Intelligence and Confidential Funds.
COA, do you confirm it?
CR break lang po si Attorney Camora, sir.
So, okay. I will wait for Atty. Zamora. So, ma'am, are you telling this committee na ministerial lang yung sa'yo?
Come again, sir.
Are you telling us na ministerial lang po kayo? Pumirma kayo dito without looking at the liquidation?
Honestly, yes, sir, I will say yes.
Oh, di may problema. Because if ever a case will be filed against dito po sa liquidation na may problema, pumirma ka dito, di part ka ng case.
But then again, sir, under the joint circular, it was clearly stated that the documents and supporting documents to the liquidation report shall be directly submitted to the COA. And it means that it will not pass through the accounting.
Oh, GMC, COA, pakicheck nga, shall.
Mr. Chair, with the indulgence
Congressman
of
Acop,
Paduano.
you're recognized.
Madam Accountant, mukhang mali yata. If you read the joint circular, there's a provision there. Teka, hanapin ko. Kasi may kopya ako nun eh. Nakalagay doon, under paragraph 4.16, in case of misuse of the intelligence or confidential fund, and depending on the participation in the transaction, the budget officer, chief accountant, the treasurer, and the project officer may likewise be held accountable with the special dispersing officer. So you can be accountable, madam. It's a provision of the joint circular.
But then again, Your Honors, per provision 6.1.8.4, it was stated that the supporting document should be submitted by the, no, it's not. So sorry, again. That,
Mali yung binabasa mo. 6.1,
Sir,
0.8, 0.4?
my apologies, sir.
Oh, eh, kasi
Ay.
mali eh.
Okay.
I have a copy of your circular here. Binabasa ko nga eh.
So it was under 6.2, the liquidation of the cash advance. It was stated under 6.2.2, all cash advances for CF and IF shall be liquidated within 30 days after every quarter and from the approved date, target date of completion. Submission of the liquidation report duly signed by the head of agency or SDO, approved by the head of agency, together with the supporting documents under section 6.2.3 hereof and listed in the covering transmittal letter of the LR. This shall be submitted directly to the ICPAO in a sealed envelope with a visible label confidential for ICPAO only through any of the following: registered mail courier and authorized licensed officers. So, under this provision, it was clearly stated or implied that the documents didn't pass through or were not reviewed by the accounting office.
So how do you reconcile that with paragraph 4.16? Sige nga. Kasi ini-excuse mo yung sarili mo because of a provision of the circular. But the same circular says that you can be accountable. How do you reconcile that?
It could be stated here, sir, but honestly, and as I didn't, it was not presented really to the accounting office, the supporting documents.
Hindi po yun ang tinatanong ko, madam. Ang tinatanong ko po, dinidepensa mo yung sarili mo using a provision of the circular, but the same circular states na ikaw ay accountable. How do you reconcile that? Kasi nasa akin yung kopya ng circular ninyo, ng COA eh. Oh. Kaya nga ako nag-intervene dahil ini-excuse mo yung sarili mo sa liability eh. Pero the circular says that you can be liable. Diba? Yeah. You read 4.16. Wala pa yung COA eh.
May we know from the representative of COA to be clarified as on the matter?
Your Honor, based on the documents from our confidential team, the liquidation report that was signed by Ms. Catalan, certified supporting documents complete and proper as the accounting unit. But then, if looking at the joint circular, it's stated there that the liquidation report in Annex E should be signed by the SDO, the accounting unit or the SDO, meaning SDO Special Disbursing Officer who was given the cash advance of the confidential fund, the Special Disbursing Officer. So if she was not the SDO,
Ano po yung sinicertify ng accountant?
when she signed the liquidation report of the 37.5,
Certifying that?
the supporting documents complete and proper.
So, paano po ninyo sasabihin na complete kung hindi naman niya nakita? Could you please clarify us? Paano niya sasabihin na complete ang isang dokumento kung hindi naman niya nakita yung loob?
Ms.
Parang
Catalan.
hindi po yata match.
Your Honor, it has to be Ms. Catalan who will answer such.
Ma'am, how can you certify something as complete and proper if you did not verify what is the content of the documents?
Sir, it is a standard procedure that every liquidation document should be covered by a signed
No, but
liquidation.
that is common sense eh.
Yes, sir.
Paano po kayo magse-certify ng isang dokumento na complete and proper nang hindi nyo nakita? Hindi po ba kayo nagtaka na nagse-certify kayo ng isang dokumento na complete and proper pero hindi nyo naman nakikita yung laman ng loob?
Unfortunately, that was the case, sir.
Did you bother to ask the legal department or the COA na bakit kailangan dumaan pa po sa inyo? Bakit nyo kailangan i-certify ang isang bagay nang hindi ninyo ini-inspeksyon o tinitingnan?
It was one of the requirements, sir, and I was made to sign that document, unfortunately.
Chairman, ako rin I ask...
Congressman Paduano,
yes, thank you,
please
Chairman.
continue.
And I ask Ms. Catalan, yung tenure of office niya since 2010 pa. And I think they're doing it since then without checking the liquidation report. And ano na po, pumirma lang. But ma'am, eto ngayon nandito sa akin yung GMC, yung binasa mo is 4.2. Eto mama, yung 6.3.3. Ito specific mandate of each and every officials which covered by this GMC. Ito 6.3.3, the agency accountant. It's you, ma'am. Tama? And look at 6.3.3D, paragraph D. You are mandated to submit all disbursement vouchers for cash advance for intelligence and confidential activities / projects, with complete required supporting documents within 7 working days from release of the check. Oh. Hindi ba pwedeng sabihin na you're not accountable? Hindi mo rin pwedeng sabihin na diretsong ibigay sa COA. Because malinaw po sa mandate mo that you have to submit disbursement vouchers, confidential activities and projects with complete required supporting documents. Oh, within 7 days.
Can I respond, Your Honor? The 6.1.8.4 pertains to the pre-audit of the cash advance.
I'm telling about, no, that is not 6.8.4. I'm saying about the 6.3.3D.
6.3.
Inconsistent with the provision that was read by Chairman Acop. Your mandate. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, it is on record that that the chief accountant of the DepEd never bothered to check the liquidation report. He just signed it without looking at the details of such report. And it is on record, Mr. Chairman.
May I respond, Your Honor? This is the first time that we have encountered cash advances for confidential fund. But for the regular cash advances for regular funds, we always ensure that the documents attached to the liquidation of the cash advances were complete. But again, for this, this is the first time that we have encountered these cash advances for confidential fund. And the procedure seems quite different, actually, and honestly.
But of course, you have the joint memorandum circular, and there is a provision with regards to the mandate of the chief accountant, the SDO, and all other officials of agency. Malinaw po yun, ma'am. So, I think once again, Mr. Chairman, it's like to put on record na inamin po ng Chief Accountant ng DepEd na she never bothered to check the authenticity, the correctness of such liquidation report, Mr. Chairman.
Sir,
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am, please.
May I correct the word not bothered, that I did not bother to check the completeness of the documents. During that time, no matter how, maybe, this is the first time ngayon may cash advance ng confidential fund, but I was made to sign it. So,
You were made to sign it by whom?
because it is a requirement that the liquidation should be covered by the liquidation voucher.
But that is, ma'am, that is your mandate. And
Yes.
your statement that you signed it without looking at the details, di ba? And that is on record.
Yes, sir, it was...
O ano ngayon yung gusto mong i-explain?
Sir, I'm trying to explain that it was stated sa joint circular that it seems or implied that the documents, supporting documents, should be directly submitted to COA in sealed envelope.
And that is your interpretation, ma'am, that we have read the GMC.
Yes, sir.
O now, what? Are you telling this representation that I'm wrong? And Chairman Acop?
No, sir, my apologies if you have misinterpreted what I'm trying to explain.
No, I did not misinterpreted you. You're telling me that my statement is not correct.
No, sir, I'm not saying, I'm sorry po, I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I'm trying to explain on why I signed that liquidation.
Oh, tell you to sign the document. Are you forced to sign the document?
Not really forced, but I was
Not really.
requested to sign the document.
Oh, you signed the document, but you never bothered to read this mandate of yours?
Ma'am, who ordered you to sign the document? Who ordered you to sign the document?
Not really ordered, but I was requested by...
Yes, who requested you to sign the document?
By ASEC Shine Paharda.
Sino po?
Si Assistant Secretary Shine Paharda.
Sunshine Fajarda. Okay.
ASIC, sa anong department po?
Department of Education po.
Ano, specific na ano niya, position?
Office ng Secretary.
The office of the secretary. But he was not the signatory of this document, di ba? Only her husband. Tama?
It was...
Edward Farda signed it. BP signed it, and you signed it. But you were requested by Ms. Farda?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, all the more that we have to, Ms. Sunshine Farda should be present in the next hearing. Para po patutunahanan yung statement ni Ms. Catalan. Sabihin na natin, you were requested to sign it. So why did you sign it? As per request of Ms. Farda?
Yes, Your Honor, because it is needed as a covering letter or covering document to the liquidation documents, supporting documents.
Oo nga, pero sabi ko na nga, kaya nga statement ko kanina, you don't even bother to check. Pumirma ka lang. Di ba? No, it's either it's your lapse or you were forced to sign it without checking all those liquidation report. Di ba, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
O, ano bang tama? Nagkamali ka lang? Nakaligtaan mo i-check? Or you were forced to sign it without checking the liquidation report?
It's hindi po nakaligtaan, but it is a needed document in the submission of the liquidation.
Of course, I know it. It is needed, you have to sign it. But ang question is, siyempre accountable ka, ma'am, because of your mandate or your position, di ba? No, sabi ko na, nakaligtaan mo or you were forced?
I was requested, sir.
Hindi nga. Saan ba? Nakaligtaan mo o you were requested? You were requested na pirmahan ka agad without checking the liquidation report?
Yes, sir.
O, di, Mr. Chairman, again, kung anong mga word gamitin, requested ba o she was forced to sign it without checking the liquidation report, ganun pa rin yun. Di ba? Ganun pa rin yun.
Ma'am, meron po akong isang tanong. Nakakatanggap po ba kayo ng envelope kay ASEC Paharta? Yung totoo po, ma'am. Remember, you are under oath. Aside from your allowance, from your regular budget, nakakatanggap po ba kayo ng envelope just like Yusek Mercado and Director Osias from ASEC Paharta?
Yes, sir.
Magkakano?
Minimal amount lang po.
Which is, how much po?
It's not even,
Magkano po?
it's 25,000.
25,000. How many times po? If you could recall.
9?
Ilan?
9 times.
9 times. From what month up to what month? Let me guess. From February to September?
I think so, sir.
So, nung September po, tumigil na.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just like Yusek Mercado. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, thank you po.
Mr. Chairman, lastly, I'd just like to manifest, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, can I, last
Yes.
na lang po. Ma'am, actually, ma'am, talagang naawa din ako sa inyo. Kasi, tingnan mo, accountable ka dito. Sabi mo kanina, ni-request ka. Pero, ang labas pa rin, ganun eh. You were requested, but, tapos, medyo kalakaran na may lagayan sa loob. Kaya nga ako, ma'am, I want to just express my sympathy to you. Naawa talaga kami sa inyo. Napipilitan kayong permahan yung isang bagay na hindi tama. Ngayon kung may kaso, pag lumabas yung NDA, yung finality nun, tatamaan kayo dyan. Ano process? Ako, Mr. Chairman, sabi ko nga, naawa lang ako dito sa mga officials ng DepEd. Pag ganito yung kalakaran. Ngayon, 2 na. Baka sunod, hindi lang 2. Di ba? Kaya, Mr. Chairman, at least ngayon, umamin na si ma'am, tama na ako. Okay na ako, Chairman. Thank you.
Para sa iba pang karagdagang mga balita at impormasyon, ay huwag po nating kalimutang mag-like, share at comment sa video na ito, at huwag po rin nating kalimutang mag-subscribe to continue supporting us. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood, at naway tangkilikin po ninyo ang aming YouTube channel.